Sometimes the hardest feeling to describe isn't sadness, it's emptiness. It isn't a sharp pain that makes you scream, and it isn't a panic that makes your heart race. It is something much quieter. It's a subtle sense that something deep inside you has gone missing, like a room in your house that you've suddenly forgotten how to enter. You wake up, you do exactly what you're supposed to do. You check your phone, you answer messages, you go to work. You go through the motions of being a person. You scroll through feeds of other people's lives. You eat, you sleep, and yet, somewhere underneath the noise of the day, something feels hollow. It doesn't feel like you are broken. It just feels like you aren't fully alive. What makes this even harder is that you can't explain it to anyone. There is no tragedy to point to. Nothing terrible is happening. Your life, on paper, might look fine, but you still feel lost in a landscape that should be familiar. If that's you, please listen to me. You don't need fixing. You are not a machine with a faulty part. You need meaning. Most people don't realize this, but meaning is as essential to the human nervous system as food or rest. We are meaning-seeking creatures. Without it, the body keeps going. The heart beats, the lungs breathe, but the soul quietly fades into the gray, that exhaustion you feel. It's not just physical. You might feel tired even after 10 hours of sleep. You might feel unmotivated even when the tasks are simple. You feel disconnected even in a room full of people. That is not laziness. That is not weakness. That is what happens when your inner world no longer knows why it's here. And when there is no why, every single step becomes heavy. There is a book that understands this emptiness better than almost anything ever written. It is called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Frankl was not a motivational speaker, writing from a comfortable office. He was a psychiatrist who was stripped of his humanity and sent to the Nazi concentration camps. He lost his family. He lost his career. He lost his freedom. He lost the very clothes on his back and even his name, replaced by a number tattooed into his skin. He lost almost everything that makes life feel like life. And yet, what he discovered in that absolute darkness was something extraordinary. He began to observe his fellow prisoners as a doctor would. He realized that the people who survived were not always the ones who were physically the strongest. They weren't the smartest or the luckiest. They were the ones who still had a why. They were the ones who held on to a reason to live, a child waiting for them, a book they still had to write, a faith that could not be shaken. Even in a place designed to destroy meaning, they found a way to create it. Meaning was the invisible thread that kept their hearts beating when their bodies wanted to stop. Frankl discovered a truth that changes everything for those of us feeling lost today. When we can no longer change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. He saw that people who believed their suffering had no purpose collapsed almost instantly. But those who believed their pain meant something could endure almost anything. We often confuse meaning with happiness. But meaning is not happiness. It is not pleasure. In fact, meaning is what allows pain to be bearable. Many people today are not struggling because life is too hard. They are struggling because life feels pointless. You may not be in a camp, but you might feel trapped in a different kind of prison. A job that feels like a slow leak of your spirit. A relationship that has become a hollow shell. A routine that feels like a treadmill in a dark room. When your days become interchangeable, the soul begins to starve. But Frankl teaches us that meaning is not something you wait for. It is not something that arrives like a package in the mail. It is something you choose. He tells us we find meaning in 3 ways. First, through work, not your job title, but the act of creating something that matters to you. Second, through love, connecting with another soul, or experiencing the beauty of the world. And third, through attitude, the way we face suffering that we cannot avoid. Even your pain can have meaning if you choose to carry it with a purpose, if you use it to become more kind, more patient, or more aware. Let me ask you something gently. As we sit here in this space together, what is one thing in your life that would still matter, even if everything else fell apart? Don't think about what makes you impressive to others. Don't think about what makes you productive or successful in the eyes of the world. Think about what makes you human. Maybe it's the way you care for a pet. Maybe it's a story you still feel burning inside you. Maybe it's a person who needs your smile, or a part of your character that refuses to let the world make you bitter. That is your meaning. It doesn't have to be a grand, world-changing mission. It just has to be true. When you live for something meaningful, the ordinary days begin to feel lighter. They don't necessarily become easier. Life will always have its weight, but they become worth it. Viktor Frankl did not promise that life would be fair. He didn't promise it would be gentle, or that the emptiness would never return. But he showed us that even in loss, even in the deepest hollow of the night, you can still choose who you become. You can still choose what your pain means. That quiet, inner choice is where your freedom lives. No one can take that from you. So if today feels empty, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask instead, "What does this moment ask of me?" Does it ask for patience? Does it ask for courage? Does it ask you to simply be still and breathe? Let that answer become your meaning. You are still here. Your heart is still beating. Your story is not finished.